Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this.
Hey,
hello. It's been so long. Look at all these gluttons for punishment. We just can't get enough.
It's only been a year and a half.
I know.
Yeah, but it's felt like 5.
Really?
Is that reading backwards on your screen or forward?
I can see it forwards. It's Chef Scene Size It.
Yeah. Is it showing correctly on your screen or is it backwards?
It is correct.
On my screen, it's backwards.
Oh, okay. No, we can see it correctly.
I didn't know if people could see it during my presentation yesterday, but
I could.
I've
seen that before. And now I know. Yeah, and I've seen that before, and now I know that it's probably me looking at my own screen. But to you guys, it's good. Yeah, because my Kiss shirt looks backwards, but it looks forward to you guys.
yeah, bring back speaking.
Yeah, and I can see cat bonnets.
Cat bonnet's gonna be out there with no pants, chasing you down after stealing an art car.
With my red cape and my green boots. See, that's where I would have called I would have named that incident the Caped Crusader. And then had a second incident open, which I don't think.
That would be the Cape Crusader.
Oh, okay. So there is. That's not even right. Shit.
Italian 4, when you first popped on, I thought that was a life vest and not an actual orange vest.
Hang on a sec. Let me show you the back.
You're gonna pull the cord, it goes.
Now, I spent some money and got some patches made.
Ooh.
Oh, look at that.
Fancy schmancy.
Yeah, jumping in. There you go, right there. Cool. Is that your is that your team's event patch, or is that just something you made for yourself? You're on mute. You're on mute, Battalion.
I made 20 of them, and if any fire team member wanted one, I sold them to them for cost.
Right.
Are they Nomex?
No, they'll melt, but if we're getting close enough to a fire for them to melt, we're too close.
Yeah, that's an indicator. Yeah, someone at Station 3 at Burning Man handed us these wooden tokens that was a fire indicator token. That side was burnt. It said something like, if this side is burnt, you're too damn close or something like that. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I posted to the Discord the scene safety donut video TikTok. Let me go find the channel and put that in.
Look at it.
One thing
I'm just throwing it out there, totally off topic. If anyone is in Central South Texas who does CPR classes, like I am in emergent need of one, like real quick. If you know anybody, like I'll travel.
You need it for your job, or?
Yeah, BLS for healthcare. Like I found a course, but like there's going to be an overlap for a new job, and so if there's like anyone who does that, just throwing it out there.
I got it done through my day job. They provided it through our work training.
That's how I usually do it. Like I've been a nurse for almost 30 years, but I'm starting a new job and mine has expired within the past month. So like, like I told them I have it. So like, I need to freaking get it. So anybody?
I've gotten mine through our local EMTs. That's who I had called, like the county EMTs. And then they were like, here's when our course is, but that was a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah, like I've contacted all my friends in the volunteer fire departments, like locally, and like usually, like I've never ever had a problem doing this, but like all of a sudden I am. I think it's a COVID thing. So yeah, like
What
I'm
is
just
the
gonna.
course you need and where are you located?
I need BLS for healthcare. I am outside Corpus, but like willing to travel if I can get that. You know, if anyone who is an instructor, like, you know, travel like Houston, like I'll travel.
Does
So
American Red Cross not have a list of like scheduled trainings?
yeah, the next one is not until like April 29th or something. So
Oh,
no,
I
like
see.
I've got other stuff worked out. I just thought I would throw it out there. Like if anybody needed the money, they could do it. We're within like a couple hours drive or whatever. So yeah, I'm just throwing it out there.
Completely unrelated to Tangle's question, but related to our last Zoom call. When we had to transfer command, I just jumped in as that because I'm kind of familiar and I was like, oh, it's me. But even though it was a ranger who had command of the situation and I'm kind of familiar with what the different departments are, it could have been a sanctuary person that jumped in or the medical person or the firefighter. It did not have to be a ranger. And the other thing is, it's okay for you to jump in as incident commander, even if you don't know all of the departments, because at least there's like a centralized location information will be going to. And if there's like a more experienced, that's when you can like contact CACI and ask for, you could even ask for a face-to-face and bring in CACI as a person, or actual could have been pulled in or something. But the other thing is, it's okay if you notice that the person is overwhelmed to go and like offer assistance or just say, I'll take command, because sometimes we don't recognize our own boundaries, which I really learned in the presentation, I guess it was yesterday by Mac and Cheese, but that's something else to really remember is you don't have to belong to the department that is traditionally in charge to be able to be the one in charge.
Sure.
No, thank you for that information. Like, yeah, I have learned so much, and like that's something I could have done. Like, especially being the only people on the scene is like I'm able to assess the scene. I'm able to assess like safety boundaries and like be aware of like you know what's going on around me just from my basic life training. So I feel a little bit more empowered and not so shy and stuff. And I guess that's why you do training, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
so
And
I'm so thankful for this weekend.
For similar reasons, that's why I didn't take IC. My skill set and my need as the fire responder was the rescue portion of this incident. And I would be a bad choice to be IC with that going on and chasing down the guy in the Cape and trying to find the family that was in this camp, right? I had the thing I needed to do, which in that particular incident made me a poor choice for IC because I had a specific technical task that I needed to manage.
I wouldn't have mind jumping in on it either.
I was gonna say it was a situation using the radios. I know we already discussed it a little bit, but like a lot of things that I would have been doing wouldn't have really been said over the radio because I wouldn't have thought that that would be more important than the emergency services activities going on and just trying to keep chatter low. But things like, you know, seeing who's distressed, who might know the individuals that were involved, like we just kind of summed all that up into T-Base doing their thing, but there would have been a lot more that would have been going on besides just that.
So one thing on these trainings is, you know, we want everyone to do it right. That's not the intent. We want you to get on the bicycle, start pedaling, and you're going to fall over a couple of times. So I'm not going to run over there and put the training wheels back on. I want you to keep trying and practice, because again, everyone on this Zoom meeting is an incident commander. If you don't have that mentality, then you're going to not be of help when there's something going on. You do not have to be the subject matter expert. As soon as Battalion 4 shows up, you don't say, here, hey, command. You put Battalion 4 in there as operations. That's where the rubber meets the road. So you're there now marshaling resources, taking notes, monitoring the bigger situation. Battalion 4 will be in there making the hard decisions, or our medical team members making the hard decision. So don't worry about that. Just practice, practice, practice. That's what this is about.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I was talking to like someone else.
And in the same vein, we got people with their hands up, so I'll be real quick. Don't forget, as incident commander,
Sorry.
you can delegate those other positions. You can tell me I'm operations. You can identify, hey, Ranger Apple, your perimeter lead. And it becomes Ranger Apple's job to set up the perimeter so the IC doesn't have to. It's totally a thing for you to be able to delegate. And I see Apple and Ivory both with hands up.
Go ahead, Ivory.
I run codes in a hospital, even though like I wasn't involved with the code, just because I stepped in and, like I knew what time things had started and like I knew a little bit about the patient. And so like I've been trying to think about this in that kind of sense. And I don't know what point I was trying to make there, but yeah, I've just like really been like thinking about things on a broader scale, and it's been awesome.
So the reason why he wanted to hand off, however, was because knowing your boundaries, knowing your limitations, and knowing what you can and can't do effectively, asking for handoff is still okay. Finding someone else that can do an IC if you are not physically, mentally, or ready or capable of doing it is still okay. Setting up those boundaries so that everybody can do their individual positions in their individual expertise that's still okay. It shows that you're trying to make everything still flow. Asking for that help, asking for that handoff is not a bad thing. If you can't take it, saying I can't take it, let me help you find someone else, is still a good thing, regardless of which portion of this you're actually trying to do in your own expertise. But boundaries are a thing. Knowing when your boundary is met and asking to hand off is still okay. Stepping up at all was still appreciated. So doing what you can do until you can find somebody else is the goal, but knowing what your boundary and your limit is still okay as well. And handing that off to keep the flow and to keep everybody else in a safe environment is still a good thing.
Again, some of us that do this professionally, if I rolled up on a massive hazmat scenario, I'm not going to feel comfortable running that. I mean, I've been trained to deal with the hazmat situations to a certain level. So fortunately, in my county, I have subject matter experts who I can bring in and let them have command of that particular situation. It's all about, situational awareness and my own level of comfort. But if I'm first on scene, I've got to give some information to that hazmat crew on the way. So again, if you can remember your five-fold path of ICS, this is going to be a big clue of getting you to the starting point. And then saying a good, concise, and meaningful scene size up is important. Once the other personnel arrive, hand it off. And you'll learn more about this handoff procedure when you watch the ICS 100 video. We posted it a couple of times. We want you to go to the NIM site, take the quiz, get the certificate and keep up your skill level.
Chairman, I've seen your hand up for a little while now, and we've got Randy on stack after you. Chairman, I've seen your hand's been up for a while. If you got something to share, please go ahead. And Randy, we've got you on stack afterwards.
Papa Smurf wanted me to let y'all know that he was not feeling well during that scene, and that he really appreciates all of y'all's feedback, and that he's listening. He just doesn't feel like speaking right now. He's gonna get some snack and he's focusing on some self-care, and that he's feeling better. And he asked me to communicate that to y'all. That so in the discussion that we were having about knowing when you're need to pass something on, and that it's okay, that you need to take back, and self-care is important. He just wanted to add that he really appreciates y'all's feedback and emphasize that handing off command is like, you need to know when to do it, and that's important. Anyways, he wanted me to forward that to y'all. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, done.
Okay. One thing that our group did this morning with the breakout in group B this morning was we kind of took some more time out and did the timeout. What needs to happen? And we weren't really doing that in our group this afternoon. And I think we could have perhaps benefited from some more timeouts. I like to have a plan, right? And part of ICS is having for the incident commander is to have a plan and be able to kind of check all the things off by the end of it and make sure you accomplished all the things. And so even though it seems really weird to say timeout, I need to come up with a plan, it helps you keep track of, okay, we need to make sure the scene is safe, that there's no victims that we can't see right here. We need to set up a perimeter. We need to deal with the scaffolding and the sofa, and we need to save the passenger, and we need to find the family who owns this site. We need to find the driver who got away somewhere and probably needs to, be held responsible in whatever manner is deemed appropriate. We need to make sure that the owner of the art car is contacted, and so forth. And so, having all of we've got to deal with all these things. Now, you don't have to tell Packy right away you're dealing with all those things right now, but knowing that you've got your plan will let you answer those questions. If somebody says, okay, so what's going on with this? Then you can say, I'm working on this. I think as soon as that team gets here, I'm going to assign them into solving this piece of the puzzle. Having that plan, if you carry a notepad in your pocket where you can grab it, you'll be more likely to be able to write that stuff down and keep from getting overwhelmed. That's one skill that you can maybe find helpful. Not everybody writes things down. I sure do.
Thank you, Apple. We've had Randy on stack for a while.
Hey, thank you. I wanted to thank everybody for the invitation. Learned a lot. A lot of things happen in these events that you don't really expect. It's good if you're in a ranger position or whatever position you're doing, that you do training so you have a clue about what to expect and what to do. I'm going to be bringing that back to Loveburn. Hope to see you all in February or maybe sooner. Thank you.
All right, Randy. So is everybody here on the Facebook group, Safetyside Facebook group? Yeah, okay. Encourage you to join it. That way you can keep up with the news you can use from us. We're going to probably work on trying to keep a little bit more active on there. It seems like we're getting some requests for that. And we want you there so we can send you links if you're not doing the Discord or
and if you don't Facebook, we are still going to use the email list, so that'll be 2 ways to stay in touch.
Yeah.
I will keep the Discord open. If anybody's interested in being a moderator on that or editing any of the adding channels or something, please let me know. It's just a tool to be used as a resource for communications between safety stuff.
I have a really fun video of an eviction process if anybody wants to critique our rangering on Discord.
Have any feedback from folks about it? I know the food sucked. I'm sorry we didn't have the tacos, but
You need to up your game, Sparky. We ate really well this weekend.
yeah, I'm telling you.
We do plan on sending out a survey, basically like the after event feedback survey. So do keep an eye on your inboxes and or in the Facebook group for that. I'm going to try to have that sent out within the week.
Sparky, when we finally do get to come down and bring you chocolate covered bacon, just say it.
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah.
I will bring enough to share because you guys are awesome.
I'd like to thank everybody who's been able to attend and join us. I think these last 2 years, we've been able to find opportunity and tragedy by being able to include so many people who would not have been otherwise able to make it to a physical event. It is something we as the coordinators are aware of, the benefit that this gives to everybody, even internationally at this point. And it is something we hope to see kind of continued forward, regardless of the status of Safetyside, is at least some level of virtual connection with those who are unable to attend our physical event. This is this doesn't really cost us much to do besides keeping up professional Zoom accounts. I mean, obviously the time demands on the coordinators, but we would love to make many of us and would love to make this happen for you again.
Thank you. Appreciate that. In particular, Safety Cowboy and I, it's been really difficult being isolated this long and will continue to be for quite a bit longer, unfortunately for us. And I am very grateful for all of you for keeping it up and for further keepage of that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. With that, I think I'm gonna jump off and get some supper ready and say, we love you guys and we appreciate all of this. It really helps keep up a lot of our stuff, and it also keeps up our morale and our mental status and everything. So we love all of you guys.
Love you. Good to see you again.
You too. I will bring that chocolate covered bacon roses as soon as we get to be able to come. I make them homemade and they're awesome.
I can't wait.
Bye guys. We love you all.
Bye.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, everybody. I know how much work it is.
I've had a lot of fun getting to know some of these new faces and some ones that I saw last year, like Sweeney. I remember you were on the call last year. So yeah, it's been great. These are a lot of fun. It's been a really long weekend living on Zoom because I'm going to like all of them. But thanks you all for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm out here walking the dogs because I was late for walkies and they were very upset. But yeah, it's I always learn something new with these things, so I really have appreciated everybody's contributions because everybody has contributed. I really do think this is kind of all y'all's Safetyside. You know, we made the Zoom links and made them happen, but you guys really. You brought the content and you brought the fun.
Well, thank you once again for spearheading making the scenarios and putting them into spreadsheets, and you're wonderful at it, and just thank you so much for that. Bluebonnet, you've also been incredibly helpful through this whole thing. Thanks for letting me rope you into more shenanigans as always.
Leave it. Good girl.
Let's stay in touch with this potential. We'll pretend that we can do a potential DM scenario with randomizers and whatnot, because I think that that makes it a little bit more fun.
Yeah, that would be.
Well, I like the idea of if you critically fail, the participant just goes ape shit.
Can we run D&D style scenarios at a burn, during the burn for just volunteers and people that randomly come by?
Oh my god!
Hey, here you're gonna play this role.
It's
I feel like we already do during shifts. I mean, that's what shifts are.
That would be a really interesting way. At volunteer squad, instead of having people shadow people, you have an experienced person just DMing, and then if they screw up, it doesn't matter because it's a role-playing game. That's something we could do. I would participate, but I ain't helping organize it.
Totally, I would too.
I run fire drills every year. My background picture is the construction water truck that I talked the event producers into letting us have, because with the 300-gallon water buffalo that we had before, I would lose against even a small car fire. And now, at least with this, I can keep car fires and RV fires contained until the volunteers get there, the external volunteer fire department gets there. And as a result of having this, there's a spot on site where I can have my folks squirt water, and every Friday around noon and every Saturday around noon, something, quote, catches fire, unquote, around that spot, and we run a site-wide fire drill.
Nice.
Awesome.
Love it. I did try to write the scenarios with if they don't establish a perimeter, this is going to happen. Whereas if they do, this happens. And I tried to kind of give the DMs some options as far as that goes. It did end up being a lot of text for the DMs to kind of read through, so that they know if this happens, then this, and if not, then that. And it's a challenge when you're DMing these, trying to figure out, okay, they just came up with something I wasn't expecting. How do I fit that into where the story's supposed to be going? So
I think they rolled with it pretty well, though. I mean, there's a couple of things that came up, and they just kind of rolled with it. So it was good.
I think something else. I mean, I know that theoretically we're going to try to get together more than once a year, but when we were discussing potential scenarios, the one that I threw out of a participant was bitten by a snake and the snake went under a stage. And it's that's not necessarily one that could play out very easily over radio to get resolved. But I think maybe just kind of roundtable type discussions of what do you actually do? What is a potential situation? I think somebody talked about coyotes coming into camps or something, but it's situations that we can't necessarily play radio with or pretend to go through, but how would we actually address them? I don't know anything other than wild animals that would fall into that, though.
It is definitely worth considering.
I like the idea of discussion scenarios. I think that there could be some utility to that, because you get the opportunity to talk about, well, what are some situations that you've handled that are like this situation, and how could a situation have been handled better? Experience. You learn from experience. Other people's experiences are experiences that you don't have to learn.
Well, we do have the if this, then this write-ups on different types of main category of incidences. So you don't have to necessarily get down to the nitty-gritty. But if you follow that level of protocols that we go through might help you deal with a, wild animal situation on just looking at how to deal with a major or minor medical alert. That would be the broad category. And then you just simply apply that to any type of medical situation.
Can I drop a quick plug again? I know I mentioned this earlier about the mentorship program at the Big Bend. One of the really exciting things I got to do following on from Safetyside last year was to actually go do some shadowing with EDS at the last band, and actually got to go see Dispatch. And Dispatch is incredible. Blew my mind. But it's not sort of widely kind of broadcast, that whole mentorship program, but if anybody, I don't know what's going to happen this year or next year, but I would plug it for anybody who would like to, some of the bigger aspects. And I think the challenge for me is what happens when it's on a smaller scale, but seeing it on a big scale was amazing.
You know me, like I'm like the overzealous, like still like, yeah, I've been burning for like 4 or 5 years and like volunteered for 3 of them, but I'm so excited. So like if there was some kind of like mentor program, like I would be so into that.
So I think Source has kind of stepped down from that role. That came through the regional network. So if you're on any of those email chains, or maybe talk to your RC about it, if anything comes through, and then, shoot me over an email. I'll put my email in. And if I see anything, I'll spread the word.
Awesome. Thank you.
I also got to see an ICS plan taking place with a fire on out on the road, and watching all of the departments basically starting that process of forming an incident plan was amazing.
I'm pretty excited to see this D&D thing escalate. I'm already in like 3 side conversations about it. We talked about this last year. It's just, can we roll this ball or not? I've never used D20 before, so please get with me on how to make that a thing.
I don't know if anybody else has anybody else used Roll20. I've only used it very minimally. Battalion 4, you want
has a die that is literally baseball sized, a D20, and he bought it.
Roll20 is a website.
Are y'all literally talking D&D, or is this like a burn?
Apple's talking about at the burn to have. Okay. Battalion 4, have you used Roll20, and can you describe it better than I can?
Roll20 is a website for D&D and other role-playing games, but its biggest feature that would be useful here is it gives everybody a chance to, or it has a feature where it can lay out a map. So the game designer sets up a map, and every individual player gets a token that they place on that map, and they can identify where they put themselves on that map. And then, there's all of the dice roll stuff about fighting and combat and stuff. But for something like this, it really would be a great idea if somebody's willing to go to the trouble to make a map and give people tokens to play on it. We could model incident responses in Roll20. It'd be a great experiment to run.
We've actually done that in real time. Back when I was Ranger Lead for Alchemy, we would have, during our team meetings leading up to the burn, we would use a laminated map of the burn property and figurines, and kind of do it like tabletop gaming, talk about what we would do in different scenarios. So I've never heard of Roll20, but if there's a way, if that allows you to virtually do that, it was super helpful for us to do it in person.
Yeah, it would totally work for this.
Tranquility is involved with the multiverse. Maybe you could also evolve this into a three-dimensional on-screen kind of tool.
Like in Second Life?
Yeah, something. I mean, I don't know how all those things work, but those people got time to deal with that shit. So have fun,
As far as maps go on there, I can talk to my DM from when I did a few D&D scenarios. You can have, they have pre-made maps. So then we just play with whatever's there. And then we just kind of picked whatever our tokens were. I haven't used it outside of actual D&D just a few times. But Chairman, as far as like your stats and whatever, I don't know that it needs to be that complicated because we do want to use this as a tool for other people to get into the fold. We can have advanced if you want.
And the more tools you bring in, the bigger the learning curve you're going to have to run people through to get them how to use it. So the KISS principle will be really, really handy if we're looking to do this for emergency management scenarios.
The good news is Ranger is already a character class.
Could we just co-opt it? Like, Ranger is Ranger, and then Medic is Cleric, and Fire can be you guys.
Fuego.
Fuego.
What is it?
Wizard.
The dragon, whatever race could be the fire person.
Sanctuary or elves.
Yeah, I want to be a fire-breathing dragon that breathes water instead of fire. Maybe I just fly over and piss on it or something. I don't know. I do not know this D&D stuff at all, guys. So you're like talking over the chef's hat right now.
Very large air dragon.
Yeah. Well, I think we're looking at a wrap up here. Is that right? Dwindling down. I know I need to go take care of something myself. So I want to go ahead and say thank y'all very much. Great job. Hope people learn some new things and teach us some new stuff. So tell us what happened, what didn't happen. Tell us what you have, what you need. It's all on the badge. And we sent you out a copy of the badge to duplicate for your own laminates. So thank y'all, and thank you, my colleagues. I think Alex already signed off. So anyhow, ciao. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. It was good to see you, man.
Good to see you. Y'all keep talking about Dungeons and Dragons or whatever.
Love you guys.
We can talk about D&D all day. Let me go get a beer.
Love y'all.
You're welcome to stay and nerd out about that if you want, because we've got the room for a little while longer. So, but everybody else, it's been great seeing y'all, and hopefully it won't be another year by the time we see each other again.
Thank you all.
Turn off the recording.
I'm here, Dungeon Master, and I think kinky stuff, not like
Same.
other stuff. So, I'm sorry, my brain just goes that way.
You're not the only one.
D&D has rules for kink. We can send Rangers into an orgy camp.
Even though I'm into kink, I've never come across those camps anywhere. I'm like, I am missing out.
Anyway, I'm going to bail out too and move on with my afternoon. So it's good to meet and see you all. And yeah, we'll keep doing this.
Yeah, thanks for your insight. Chairman or Gio, I have a question on whatever survey form y'all, oh God, you just moved on my screen. Whatever survey or form y'all send out, just kind of reassessing, are y'all thinking about including a hey, I would still like to stay in touch virtually for roundtable, once every 2 months? Because that was something I brought up last evening, because last year we were like, yeah, let's get together virtually, and nothing happened. And my thoughts are, if a date, a a schedule isn't established now, like, hey, we're going to get together the first Sunday of March, July, in November, like, it's not going to happen. Like, it kind of holds us.
Do you want to make that like a survey question? Like what, like when would be a good time to get together? Do we want to do it like monthly, quarterly?
I like the idea of asking that, like, hey, do you guys want to meet monthly, quarterly, you know, twice a year, or, you know, whatever. And then can we also ask if, hey, would you be interested in helping facilitate any of these things, or leading another like presentation, or helping with the Discord or something?
Yeah, and I don't know if it needs to be just kind of general, like, what type of presentation are you willing to lead? You know, I'm not saying, like, it might be 1 month, it's only, you know, related to medical people. And so maybe it's not an everybody thing. And then another one, it's just like a regional discussion thing. And then another one is like,
yeah, will you text some things to me since I'm with dogs right now, but I definitely would like to include that kind of stuff in the survey. Guys, come on.
Another thing I guess we have to ask is, do we continue to do this like as Safetyside? Is that something AAR's gonna be interested in letting us do, or continue to do? Like, we still have to ask them, right?
I think
we are using their Zoom account, and yes, I don't think it'll be a big deal. And I mean, that's pretty much the only cost as far as putting these on.
I mean, could Discord not be used as an alternative?
I mean, it can be. It's just whether or not we maintain that like association as a AAR sponsored event.
I'm thinking of it.
I just figured probably ask.
Like, you can do Google Meets for free. That's what we always did when we did Dungeons and Dragons.
You're right. You're absolutely right. We can totally do that. We don't have to do it on the AAR account, just regular meetups.
I also think, you know, it's more organic if it's not an AAR thing. Like, there can be Safetyside where there's like that emphasis on training, but then maybe this goes in another direction of, I don't know, like paper, I like creativity or brainstorming, or like non-safety things. Like, there might be an art discussion at one point, or ticketing or whatever. And you know, I think if it's in the lens of Safetyside, it's kind of like, oh, it's another thing that they're doing. In like, it should, the way I see it is like an ownership that everybody has, and like no one should be afraid to like if Cheese Pants, you're the one over in Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm in Tennessee, this is kind of weird coordinating with AAR, you know, to use their account or whatever. I don't know what your feelings are on it. I don't know if you care.
Make this independent thing.
At least for my burn, our leadership is so geographically dispersed. Like, I'm in South Carolina, even though I'm one of the leads for Tennessee. We've got event leads from Indiana, Virginia, South Carolina. So we've got a Zoom account because that's the only way we can have meetings for our burn, because we're so spread out all over the place.
So maybe it's whoever is the host of the topic figures out how they want to do it. So if Cheese Pants is hosting, he does Zoom because he has an account. If I'm hosting it, I do Google Meet because that's the only thing I actually know how to use. And I don't know, Chairman, if you're doing it, you do whatever, you do it on Discord.
The video stuff seems to undoubtedly work better on, like, especially if we've got more people to break out into something over like Zoom instead of Discord. But they're accounts that I have access to, so.
Yeah, I think it's going to depend a lot on how many people we're talking about.
Let's ask people, you know, if they like what kind of themes they might be interested in for, you know, meetups that are more often, and maybe we can trend, you know, our discussions and things, and even our scenarios around, you know, dealing with specific styles of situations, I guess.
I think survey wise, having 2 questions. 1, what would you like to learn about? And 2, what would you like to lead?
And how often?
And how often to meet?
I'm thinking quarterly would be doable. I do a lot of other monthly things, and that monthly makes me, it's already stressing me out thinking of monthly, but quarterly I think I could do.
I think every 3 or 4 months we could probably put together something.
Yeah, and I'm not
place
thinking
over a couple of days.
Like, I'm not even thinking a couple of days. I'm thinking like Saturday afternoon, there's a 2-hour discussion on ABC topic, and that's it. Like, I don't want to dedicate a weekend every 3 months to doing something. Like, that's
especially
how
during
I was
burn
viewing
season.
it. I'm sorry, Chief Pants?
I was just saying, especially during burn season.
Oh yeah.
You and I have street medic stuff too. So between, street medics and burns eventually starting, and then I like to occasionally get laid and drunk on the weekends. We're gonna fill up our schedule real quick.
Yeah, I had to actually cancel on a street medic thing I was going to do today because I had forgotten that I'd signed up for this when I agreed to do that. They had coverage, no big deal, but
yeah, but I was not thinking of it as being a big grand. It actually takes energy for more than like 1 or 2 people to do. Like, what I was thinking was, I'm Bluebonnet. I want to do a Q&A presentation on like easy to cook food at a burn because I want to get people together. And then Cheese Pants is like, I want to host one on how to be a department lead and coordinate with people out of state or whatever. And it just be like an hour and a half or 2 hours touch base thing. Like, I have no desire to do a big giant thing like this again right now.
A quick question.
I think we should delegate some of this organization to Bluebonnet over here. If we were to have a breakout team, like a committee, I would like to vote that Bluebonnet be on that committee.
Quick question.
I can Google sheet that. Sorry.
Is the street medic component of this weekend, is that going to be something going forward, or was that just kind of for this year since there's so much crossover?
It was, that was the original intent, was because there was so much crossover, but we can make that a continue. We do a lot of stuff on our Dallas Street Medics Discord server. We've been trying to have regularly scheduled trainings that any street medic is welcome to attend.
Do y'all post that on the national Discord?
We haven't, but we can start doing that once we start getting our regular trainings back up again. Are you on the national Discord?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, well, then we can start doing that.
I was just curious because there's a lot of people I've met in the last year doing that aren't burners. That if I don't want to go raving at them about, oh my God, there's this amazing event called Safetyside I went to last weekend. If this was something that was still going to be 99% focused on burn stuff, or if it was going to be limited more to burners,
I think that you should tell your street medic friends and that we should continue to encourage and keep them involved, because I personally feel like a lot of the information and the emergency response, could be utilized, across that box truck scenario, right? If your team comes across a flaming car at a protest, it's not that different in how you might go about assessing the situation.
I think crossover is great, and I think we should keep doing it because we want to have some new medics come to burns, or vice versa. We might get burners interested in being street medics. So let's continue the crossover, I think.
The other thing
we have a lot of medical representatives, I think, this time around that were, previously necessarily burners experienced with our first aid department. But the first aid people that we had showed up were street medics that might be interested in burning. So yeah, I'm all for keeping the crossover.
Yep.
Yeah. Heck, I've taught ranger training to a group of street medics before. So I'm like, oh, you want to know better about de-escalation? Here, I've got some things for you. So there's a lot of skills that go both ways.
Definitely. Yeah, it can only, I think it only benefits both groups to keep crossing over. Yeah. All right, you guys have been very good job.
Blue Bonnet, I don't see your beer. It is almost 5 o'clock.
I'm gonna show you guys my dogs. There's my good boy and my good girl.
My dogs are very frustrated with me.
My cat had finally had enough today. Like, my cat had been mostly leaving me alone when I was on these. Every time I'm trying to be on Zoom or Zello, my cat is all over me. Like, no, you've had enough of this. Pay attention to me now.
Yeah, that's how this one's feeling also. Yeah.
I'm gonna take off. I've got stuff I need to take care of, and Cat Snakes needs attention, I guess. Before I leave. He just got his second dose, so he's kind of like hanging out, unsure of where he'll be.
Okay.
Sleepy, fever, whatever wise. But yeah, I'm happy to kind of get with y'all and help establish a calendar for potentially getting people to do or facilitate a topic, maybe like a short presentation and then open discussion afterwards, or maybe they just
like
want to facilitate it. I'm not going to go chase people down though, so if Goodfellow's like, yeah, I'll host this month, and I remind him and he doesn't show up, I'm not going to facilitate it though. I'm going to establish those boundaries, and I'm asking for y'all to be like, no, Erica, this is not your responsibility to take over because Goodfellow could not do it. So I don't know, Goodfellow, if you I know you were out for a moment, but it's the discussion of having like, bi-monthly, quarterly, just couple hour presentation, roundtable, get together, check in, whatever's.
I feel like with COVID that in the interim, it'd be good, especially since we're not doing events, we're not practicing in actuality, and it'll keep us all sharp for sure.
What's that? You want to help organize the Roll20 DM aspect, and I'll help organize the presentations? Hey,
I can
y'all.
definitely
Congratulations,
solve
I've added you to the list.
problem. That's already solved, no problem.
Which is solved.
The D20, we built an Arduino device, and it's like a big cube. It's like it looks like it's a D12. It's a giant yeah, I think it's a giant D12, and it's got a button on top and then selectors on the front. And so you can select between a D6, a D3, just a D2, which is just a flip coin toss. You have all these options, and you just pick which one you want and hit the button on top, and it gives you a number.
Can it be operated remotely?
It's a lot more fun in person.
Okay. I was just thinking,
just do a Google search for dice.
I have a bunch of dice too. I could roll the dice and just read the numbers, or get a little dice tower.
It's a good low tech solution.
All right, y'all take care. It's good seeing y'all's faces. I can't see what this says. Girl, you gotta read that out loud.
It's a list. I put all of your names on this list here. It says RD20 Safety Committee, and it says Blue Bonnet, Nathan Sweeney, and Cheese Pants.
Oh, put me on that too.
Okay, and Gio.
Doing all the things.
I'll make a thing in the Discord and make a channel and be like, hey, you guys talk about this here.